What box do you have me in?
Later.
Okay.
I went to
Joanne?
the box, so that's one.
What box do you have me in?
Doctor.
Okay. Pat, what box do you have me in?
I don't know. I don't guess because I don't.
Tim Reynolds
talk
is.
about
Finish the sentence.
doctor. I'm a doctor.
Okay. Kim?
My friend.
Okay. Candace? Oh, you already know this. Tracy?
Leader.
Okay. Here's the concept. What we do is, what I want you to do is look around the room for everything you see that's red. I want you to actually memorize a list. Look around, see red. Okay. Now think about it. Okay. Now look back at me. Kim, tell me everything you saw that was blue.
I didn't look for anything blue. I looked for everything.
Was there things that are blue in the room?
Yeah.
Did you see them?
Mm-hmm.
But you can't name them. We're not aware of everything around us. We only think we're aware of everything around us. And that's actually good. There's a part of our brain called the reticular activating system. And the reticular activating system's job is to filter for us what's important. Okay? I'm going to tell you about 10 things you're not thinking of right now. How many times your heart's beating a minute? Are you making it happen? How many times are you breathing? You thinking about that? Your vision, whether or not the lens is contracting or opening. You thinking about that? Right? The sound of the projector. Can you hear it? Did you hear it before? Okay. Your reticular activating system is filtering those things so that it allows the front part of your brain, your cortex, to focus on what you think is important. Okay? How many times have you heard of, or been part of a car accident that when they asked the witnesses saw 3 different things? Mm-hmm. Why is that? Did not the same event occur? So how come 3 different people saw it 3 different ways?
Focus.
Because the reticular activating system told them what to focus on. And they focused on what was important for them in that situation. Attorneys use this all the time in the courtroom, right? They don't know what they're talking about, but that's what they're talking about. So here's the concept of that. You need to be aware of that so you can use it. To think that you understand everything that's happening around you is a misperception on your part. You can't. You couldn't name the blue things right in the room because I told you to focus on the red things. Had I told you to focus on the blue things, you wouldn't have noticed the red things, right? So you focus on what your brain tells you to focus on. On that same note, in our relationships with other people, we do the same thing. Okay? How many have seen, heard of, been part of a child who was in a classroom who got labeled by their teacher as either a good student or a bad student? How hard is it to break that label once it occurs?
It's impossible.
It's almost impossible, isn't it? Because the teacher has put them in a box. That's what I call it. Once you're in a box, it's very hard to get out of the box. Okay? So Candace might have me in a box as an overbearing ass. Now here's the interesting thing. She and I may have 14 different kinds of relationships, friendship outside of this, but almost everything I do that comes from arrogant ass goes right into the box and fits her model, and she says, see, I told you it was an arrogant ass, and almost everything else that I do gets stopped out here because her reticular activating system says, I don't see the blue, I only see red. That's why it's hard for that student to get out of the box. Everything that student does wrong, the teacher sees and lets it in. And everything that student does right, the reticular activating system says that doesn't match my model of the world. So therefore, I've got to stop that from happening. This was no more clear than in Israel. Both on the palace. We went into the Hebron in the West Bank where Hamas's stronghold is, and it was super clear that both sides have this built, and none of the good that the other side can do can get through because they place them in a box and that doesn't fit their model of the world. Right? So it's vivid over there. Very vivid. Especially when our bus broke down in the West Bank, we had to walk out. It became very vivid. But it happens to all of us in this room too. So the key is wake up and understand that this is what's happening. Okay? It's happening for a reason. It's okay for it to happen because you cannot think of everything simultaneously. You can't think about the sound of the projector and is the light on, is my heart beating, is the thing. So reticular activating system has great purpose, but it's also limiting us in the fact that once we create the box, so what I want you to do is sometimes think, is that reality or is that just the box I've put that person in? Okay? So as long as this is serving us, it's very helpful. When it becomes not helpful is when we don't let it serve us anymore. When it starts to hinder us is when we start being a victim of it because we start putting people in boxes and we can't break out of that box and say, that's not really what's going on here. Okay? Now, I could go around the room and tell you each box that I have each one of you in. And each one of us could do the same thing. To pretend otherwise is not really true. Because I have Chrissy in a certain box, right? Chrissy's, very good at this, she does this right, she does this right. On the other hand, her weaknesses are this, this, and this. Now, how well do I know Chrissy? Pretty well, but I don't follow her around 24 hours a day. I don't know everything about her. Do I know what kind of a mom she is? Only from the outside. I don't know her kid's perception of what kind of a mom she is. I don't know her husband's perception of what kind of a mom she is. I don't know her mom's perception of what kind of a mom she is. I only know my perception of what kind of mom she is. And that's true with all of us, right? So be careful before you put somebody in a box and make a statement and say they are whatever it is they are.